Okay, now we're going to be doing our 15-mile ride back. We're going to split this up in two different segments as far as the ride goes. So we're going to head back home now. That's my halfway point. I normally always stop and eat a couple sandwiches. And sometimes an energy bar to go with it, so. I'm not much of one for a breakfast person. I don't like to eat in the morning too much. I know they say it's your best meal to eat, but I don't do that. This is about the time of day that I normally eat my lunch. Of course, I did change my battery out now, so we're back to 100%. We actually, after it recalibrated itself, we got down to 34% on the battery and did 15 miles. And once you get down that low, it's going to drain even a lot faster if you ride more, obviously. So it's always best for me to just go ahead and change it out. Now, in the summertime, I may be able to ride the whole thing on 30 miles on one charge, but not in the colder weather. On your left. Yeah, you guys don't get to see the trail going this way too much. Looks like we've got a maintenance vehicle coming this way on the trail. I believe it might be a Parks Department guy, maybe. How you doing? Not sure what he was. His truck was unmarked. He's got flashing lights on it, so I know he's a Parks Department guy, but he's unmarked. Unusual to see them on the trail in an unmarked vehicle for sure. Yeah, I could have been looking for somebody. Looks like we got another truck up here stopped in the trail. Not sure what he's doing. Some kind of maintenance vehicle again, I believe. We talk a little bit about the bike here. Again, this bike is a 20-inch by 4-inch fat tire bike called Cyrusher Komoda. I paid $21.99 plus tax for this bike back in July of last year. So I've had it around 6 months now, about 6 months now. It's been a great bike. That's all I'll say about it. It's a very sporty looking bike. It is a step through, and you've only got to step up about 9 to 10 inches to get over the bike to get on it to ride it. And that's why it is so popular with people my age, or seniors, because it's easy for them to get on and off of it. And with the 4-inch tires, it definitely gives them more stability on the trail as well. It's got a 750 watt rear hub motor on the back, and it's got a 7-speed Shimano shifter. Normally I only ride in 7th gear, because if I need to go up a small hill or something, I will use the throttle to get up it. On my right hand here is a half twist throttle, which you can see hopefully on my camera. And of course all the pedal assists are over here by my phone. It'll go from pedal assist 1 up through pedal assist 5. And each pedal assist will get you to a certain mile an hour. And then I may do a quick range test up here. We got a pretty straight area right here. So I'm going to go ahead and back it down to pedal assist 1 and tell you what speed I'm at. And then we'll go all the way up through 5, and then I'll do a throttle only test and let you know what we're doing there as well. So let's drop this back to pedal assist 1, which I'm on now. And this will probably get me to about 12 mile an hour, I'm thinking. Maybe a little less. So I'm at about 12.8, maybe 13, riding in pedal assist 1. Now remember, that's going to give you the most bang for your buck on your bike as far as battery degradation. The lower the gear, the more effort you're putting into the pedals, which means you're not using the motor as much. So there's pedal assist 1. Now I'm going to bump it up to pedal assist 2. And I'm thinking around 14 to 15 mile an hour is what we're going to be there. You can hear the motor picking up here a little bit. Actually, we may get to about 17 and a half, I'm thinking. There's pedal assist 2. That's called low. The first one you got is called eco. And then low on pedal assist 2 seems to be about 17 and a half mile an hour is where it, I'm looking at my bike computer and not my phone. So that seems to be where we're topping out at about 17.5. Now we're going to go to pedal assist 3. And we're doing it about 21 and a half mile an hour, maybe 22 mile an hour at pedal assist 3, which is called normal. That seems to be the speed that I ride in the most on the average. Now we're going to bump it up to pedal assist 4. We're at about 24 mile an hour. And then pedal assist 5, which is called power. We're up to almost 27 mile an hour. 27 and a half seems to be the top. Now once I get through to this intersection up here, we'll go ahead and do a throttle only test. But as you can see, it's got plenty of torque and plenty of power on pedal assist 5, which is the top speed or top pedal assist you could put the bike in. So once I get across this intersection, we're going to do a throttle only and see what we get. So we'll be stopping right here. And I'm going to drop this back down to 0, actually. I actually have to have it on 1 in order to get the pedal assist to take over. So we're going to do throttle only. I'm not going to be pedaling at all. Now, this bike is designed to where you're only going to do about the same average you're going to do on the pedal assist. But once you get up to pedal assist 2, it bumped it up to about 17 mile an hour. Pedal assist 3, throttle only, I'm not using the pedals. You're at about 21, 22 mile an hour. Pedal assist 4. Again, you're at about 24, 24 and a half, maybe 25. And on power, I'm at pedal assist 5, and I'm up doing about 27 mile an hour. Goes about 27 and a half mile an hour on throttle only. So there are the speeds that you can expect out of this side rusher on pedal assist modes. So I'm going to drop it back down to pedal assist 3, and that's be where I'll ride for a while. Well, what's nice about any of these pedal assists, once you're at a stop, you can use the throttle to get you going, and I'll tell you what, you get up to speed pretty quick. Now I'm riding in pedal assist 3, and I'm doing almost 20 mile an hour, so that would be about an average for me. So this bike is very responsive. It'll just get up and go. Now, a couple more things about the bike. It's got dual suspension, front and back. It's a very comfortable ride. And of course, as I mentioned, it's got Zoom hydraulic brakes, front and back, disc brakes. The seat on this, as I mentioned, is the stock seat. It is very comfortable. I did not change the seat at all. Now, I did purchase a rear bag that goes on the bike rack, which came standard on the bike rack. And I purchased a side rusher bag where I can carry my extra battery in and some other items. Minor tools and things you may need on a bikeway, on a bike ride, I mean. So I just wanted to put it through its paces on its range test. So if anybody is interested in buying this bike, I'll tell you what, I highly recommend this thing. Now, I normally do a 1 to 10 rating. And I did one yesterday on the Electric Bike Company, and I gave it an 8.5, and there was a couple reasons why I didn't give it a higher rating, which I mentioned on the video. But this one, I'm going to give it a 9.5 on this side rusher. I mean, I call it the Beast because it is just a really built, sporty, hefty little bike. I wouldn't hesitate to take this thing on a 100-mile ride if I had an additional battery, which would give me 3 batteries. I would probably do that. There's nothing about this bike that I don't like. Just like this little hill here, I can use the throttle and get up it a lot easier. And I almost maxed out about 940 watts. So that's pretty good torque on a motor. I'm gonna have to stop up here. I'm going to, I've got an extra battery charger that I'm gonna put on my phone here. So I'm gonna stop at the bridge up here and I'm gonna plug in this charger, this battery on this phone, because that Strava app really drains this battery on my phone. And I probably only got about 25% left on my battery, and that may not be enough to get me back. So we're going to nip it in the bud and go ahead and plug this little battery pack I have. And if I can find a link on that, I'll put that on the description box as well. And this one's for an iPhone here. So let me jump off the bike here and see if I can get that out of my bag. Been a while since I used this, so get my gloves off here so I can see what I'm doing and feel what I'm doing, shall I say. But you can see it's got the little charging cord here for it as well. And it just plugs right in. I can't remember the name of this thing. Anker, A-N-K-E-R. As you can see, this little button here, it'll show you all the lights that are lit up. I can't really see them in this dark on the battery, but let's see, make sure this thing is on. Hope I haven't drained this. Yeah, I got a low battery now. There's only 20% left on my battery. Yep, that did it. My charger started, so I've actually got about 3 bars. I don't know how charged this thing is. I'm gonna have to charge this a little more when I get home. But I'm just going to stick this thing in my pocket up here. And that way I'll be able to charge my phone here as I'm riding. So I highly recommend pick up one of these little devices if you can. It didn't cost very much. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'll see if I can find that and put it in the description box. But now I can go ahead and finish my ride, and my battery's charging at the same time. That'll pretty much give a battery on a phone a full charge just with this little battery pack. So it does a really nice job. As I mentioned, when I get out on these trails, I try not to forget anything that I may need. And this is one of them. I've already went out of the red and now I'm in the black again, so it went above 20% already charging. Yeah, that Strava app that I use on my phone really drains this battery on the phone. But like I said, with this little Anker battery juice, you may call it, I don't have to worry about it now. I'll just go home and plug this little juice pack in and let it charge back up and put it back on my bike for the next ride. If it's not raining tomorrow, we may be riding this bike one more time tomorrow. I might have to wait till early afternoon. The winds are supposed to be really strong tomorrow, 30 and 35 mile an hour, but you know, when you're on an e-bike, it doesn't really matter that much. You're going to drain the battery a little bit, but you're not going to notice it so much on the bike ride. I pass that guy all the time. He's on this trail. Talked to him a couple times. You pretty much see the same people on the trail quite a bit. On your left. Thank you. Come a little better than 20 miles. We got about 10 more to go. It'll go quick. Yeah, when you're on these e-bikes, I'm gonna tell you, you'll chew through the miles before you know it. Since I retired a couple years ago, this is my #1 thing I love doing. I love to garden as well, but I can do this all year long. And I hope I'm really putting out some good information for you folks. Like I said, I try to be as honest as I can on a review for you. Because if I was to buy a bike, I would see what other seniors thought about that bike. There's just not many senior bike channels out there. But that would be important to me, to see somebody that age riding that bike and how it affects them. So that's why I do this. I really want to help and educate people on making good sound purchases on a bike that they're thinking about buying. Now, I've only got 3 e-bikes, so I can't just go out and willy-nilly buy a bunch of bikes. A lot of people want me to review different bikes, but I don't own them. And I really, you know, I'm not going to go out and buy an e-bike every time somebody wants to see a review on one. So that's why I am trying to hook up with some of these e-bike manufacturers, so they'll send me some free bikes to review. And I'd be more than happy to review them. And as I mentioned, Gail up in Michigan, one of my very loyal subscribers, she comments all the time on my channel. She's always reaching out to these e-bike companies for me, because the weight of a review weighs heavily on somebody that wants to see another senior ride that bike. They don't want some manufacturer employee or young person riding those e-bikes to give them a review on something they want to possibly purchase. I think Gail purchased this Side Rusher on my recommendations, and some other factors, obviously. So she's always reaching out to these bike companies. She really wants me to do an e-bike review on, I think it's Rad, that's got the trike out. And she's reaching out to them. I haven't heard back from them yet, but you know, things happen as they just... I had an electric bike company just call me out of the blue. I had emailed them probably a month before that. And all of a sudden they just called me out of the blue and wanted to send me that Moto R bike that I ride. So again, I thank them for being so kind and gracious to send that bike to me. But I'd be more than happy to review any bike that somebody sends me from a company. I will probably either give them things away if I get too many e-bikes, or sell them at a very drastically reduced cost to somebody. But the problem with e-bikes, you've got to try to find somebody in your local area, because they cost quite a bit to ship across the country if you just have to send it to another person. On your left. Thank you. I got this bench finally built up here on the right. They just put that in about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I think my battery's probably up to about 30 to 35% now. It's really charging quickly. This little battery pack I'm using, it's an amazing little device. And you can carry that anywhere with you if you're out and about and you don't have somewhere to charge your phone, like, you know, if you're not in your car or whatever. These little battery packs are just perfect for that. Seen a few people out today. Glad to see that. Weather's really nice. Not much activity on the trail. I like that. Got about 8 miles to go. I'll tell you, I've done this so many times now that this 2-hour ride is pretty much effortless to me anymore. And the more you ride like this, the stronger you're making your knees and your hips, and your body really gets acclimated to that bike, and the more you want to ride. I mean, I truly look forward to every ride I go on. It was kind of ironic. I did the same thing when I owned a pest control company. I was in the industry 40 years. And I owned a company probably 22 to 24 years of that time. And I truly love going to work every day. I love my job. I was a bug guy. I just love solving problems for people. And we were a local company, and like I said, I turned that over to my son and my grandsons, and he's doing very well with the company. So I just kind of sit back and get a monthly check till the company's paid off. And but occasionally I will help him with a question he may have. He's only been in the industry a little less than 8 or 9 years now, and he may have a problem that he can't figure out on a bug problem on a residential property or a commercial property, and he'll call me for advice. Every now and then I like to get out and do a ride along with them, one of my grandkids, and spend time with them in the vehicle all day. In between stops, you know, really visit my grandchildren that way. So I'm going to do that a little more this spring and summer, and ride with my son on some sales calls. So, you know, the older you get, you really start focusing on some of the things you should have done when you were younger. And we were just totally involved with our 2 sons all the way through high school, and all the sports activities and band and show choir and everything they ever did, we were there as parents. That was some of the most fun times that I had, or we had, is when the kids were in high school playing high school sports, basketball and baseball primarily. My wife would not let them play football. And now I can see why, with all the head injuries you see. But those were some fun times. Unfortunately, back then, a camcorder had just come out in the late 80s, early 90s, and camcorder wasn't real popular at the time, but I spent more time behind a viewfinder taping my kids' sports than I ever was able to sit there and watch them and enjoy them. Most kids in the school, they all called me Video Dad. Every time they see me, that's what I was doing, videoing something. We have all those, believe it or not, we have all those tapes. We probably got 80 or 90 tapes from high school that we have them on VHS. I do need to get them digitized over to CDs or something. My kids it's not important to them right now, but it will be when they get a little bit older. They've not once wanted to go back and watch those videos from high school, but they will. And their kids are going to want to see them. On your left. On your left. But I have been truly blessed by God. As I mentioned, I'm a Christian. I don't like to get into religion a whole lot, but I'm not afraid to talk about it either. God has blessed me in so many ways with my talents, everything that I did in sales over the years, everything I did as a business owner. He gets the glory, because without him, none of that would have been possible. He has just blessed me and my wife abundantly. But you know, the older you get, you want to spend more time with family and kids and your grandkids. And I had a video I put out the other day. I had a kind of surprise birthday for my wife with all my family and both of my kids and their kids. It was her 70th birthday on the 29th of January. And I was married 50 years last May the 6th. We really didn't do anything special on our anniversary. We just kind of went out to dinner, and we're pretty simple people. So I had my daughter-in-law meet me at the mall at JCPenney, and I bought her a ring and a necklace. Necklace for her birthday, and a ring really for her 50th anniversary. And I forget what my daughter-in-law called those rings and those necklaces. They kind of got like a little, I don't know, circle 8 in them. I can't remember what they call that. Kind of like a forever thing. But I took her with me because I didn't know anything about that kind of stuff. So we had that on, had all that after church a couple weeks ago, and she really enjoyed. She said that's probably one of the best birthdays she's had on her 70th. She's got to go get another test on her heart on Friday. We have to be at the hospital 5:30 in the morning. It's awful early. But one more test she's going to get for she got a valve that's only opening halfway. They don't think it's an immediate danger at this point, but they're concerned about it, obviously. All her other tests come back really good as far as other things they had to do. So the cardiologist said that let's run this one more test and let's see if we really need to do anything. They don't do like open heart surgery anymore. They go through your groin and stuff to fix whatever problem it is, and I think that's pretty cool. So after we advise this one more test, and if you guys please keep her in your prayer. Her name is Marsha, M-A-R-S-H-A. She's my rock. So I actually knew her when I was 16 years old. I met her through a girlfriend that I liked, the girlfriend, her girlfriend, and I really liked this girl too, but I seen my wife. We met with a friend of mine, and the rest is history. 1967, I think we met, maybe 68. She actually knew my sister before I knew her because they went to school together. Same grade my wife was in, so. Yeah, I got an older sister's getting her hip replaced today. I think she's 73 maybe. Getting her hip replaced today, so that's kind of normal procedure anymore. They're actually going to send her home same day. It's just really amazing what modern medicine can do today. I know they sure don't want to keep you in the hospital long anymore. Insurance companies want to get you done and get you out. Yeah, she had my wife had a double mastectomy back in 2018. So we got one more visit with the oncologist in March, and that'll be her 5-year marker. She don't have to take that pill anymore and all that. But fortunately, when she had the double, they only found a small lump in her breast, but she decided to go ahead and take them both off. She just said at her age, at 65 at the time, maybe, I don't know, 60, somewhere around there. She was actually only 64 because she did not have health insurance at the time. I had health insurance, but she couldn't get it because of her diabetes and her weight. You know how the whole thing goes. So she had the surgery done, and I think it was at the end of 2017. And she was out of the hospital the next day after that double. She never even had to take an aspirin after surgery. It was amazing to me. I guess she got a really high tolerance to pain. So she had that done in 2000 and towards the end of 2017, but she also needed to take 4 chemo treatments right after that, just to be on the safe side. But we did not have health insurance for her, and each one of those treatments are $10,000 each. Now, we could have paid for it out of pocket. It would have hurt, but we could have done it. So we had to apply for Medicaid and all that, and of course I got denied because of too much. We had a 401 and, you know, our savings and stuff, so they declined us, but that was the steps we had to take first. And before you know it, one night in the hospital, that surgery and the one night stay was $49,000. On your left. So we're getting ready to make arrangements to pay that back because we wanted to. That was a bill we made. So we went up to the financial people at the hospital to start making arrangements, and they said there was no bill there. I don't know who paid that. There had to be some kind of organization did. We never found out who it was, but God knows. So when you wonder where God is in any situation, just look at some of the things that happen in your life. Now, all things are not good. He's going to let us go through some tests and some trials for obedience as well. That's all part of it. But it was really neat to see that paid for. And the oncologist told her she can go ahead and wait till January. That was the end of October. She had the double. They told her she can go ahead and wait till January till she was 65 years old to go on Medicare, and then then all the treatments would be free. On your left. So she waited till January, and she had to have I think it was 5 of them. It took a total of about every 3 weeks. It took a total of I think by the end of March she was done with that, and she's been cancer free since then. So again, I give God the glory and for all the healing that he does. And I tell people, if you want to know where the devil's at in your life, become a Christian. You'll find out. That devil's going to be at your side. Everything you do, he's going to be nudging at you to go right back where you was before you were born again Christian. And anybody else as Christians on my channel can attest to that. They know what that's about. I mean, really, the Lord don't tempt you on anything. The devil does. But I just know in my life and everything that's happened that I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him. I was an alcoholic early on. God took that away from me. I was a smoker at one time. God took that away from me. He blessed me with a wife of 50 years. I never take that for granted. I remember when I was probably only married about a year or so, that me and my wife had a fight. I can't remember what it was about. And at that time, I lived real close to my mom and dad. So I remember walking back to my mom and dad's house and after the fight, and I just told my mom, I'm not living with that woman for another day. She looked at me with a stern look and she says, you get your butt, with another word, back over there and take care of her. That is your wife. You lay down in that bed and so you're gonna suffer everything that you're going through. But what that did in my marriage is really strengthened the marriage. You really become truly one if you love that person. I didn't mean to get in a big rant today and discussion about a lot of personal things, but I like to share them with people to let them know what God does in my life and what he's done in my life. Yeah, we got a little better, almost 3 miles to go now. And we've used about, we're down to 64% of the battery, so only used about 36% coming back. Been a very easy ride today. Yeah, we just crossed over 27 miles. On your left. I look up on the side of that hill next to the highway there and I see nothing but trikes down the side of that hill. Amazing how people can just toss stuff out of their vehicles and think nothing of it. And I agree, some of it's coming out of trash cans at people's houses, but for the most part it's thrown. I'm looking a little trash on the right side over here, and that's just people throwing pop cans and stuff on the side. They don't care. Beer cans, whatever. Across this little intersection up here, we'll have exactly 2.5 miles to go. Hope you guys enjoyed this video coming back. We're going to go ahead and bump it up to pedal assist 4. Got about 57% of the battery left. That's actually a little more than we had going up to my halfway point. We're going to bump it up to 4. We get about 20 miles an hour and we'll stay that way for a little while, and then we get about the last mile, I'll go bump it up to pedal assist 5. Yeah, we're at pedal assist 4 now. We're doing about 21 miles an hour according to my bike app. about 1880 on my Strava app. It's a little bit off. I'm not sure which one is really accurate. Probably somewhere in between, in the middle somewhere. Yeah, it usually takes me a couple hours to edit these videos. Time I upload them to YouTube and do all the editing in software before I uploaded them to YouTube. I use iMovie, which is part of Apple. Pretty simplified app for an editing program. I tried to use like Premiere Pro and some of those, and Final Cut and all those. They're a little more advanced, but I wanted to keep it simple when I edit these videos. I don't need all this slow down, slow motion, fast forwarding and all that stuff on these rides. I could learn how to fast forward these rides, but then I wouldn't have any commentary. And my wife said I can talk a lot. You talking about complete opposites? She is complete opposite of me. You gotta pry words out of her sometimes. I remember when the kids left the house, we were empty nesters at the time, and I remember looking at her one day across the living room, and I said, honey, you mean I gotta talk to you now? So we thought that was kind of funny. I did anyway. But it's really, it's something you gotta learn to change a lot, you know, communication, especially with your spouse, because you're so used and wrapped up in your kids. How you doing? Good. Yeah, I bet my battery's up to over 50% now by looking at it. This little battery juice pack has really charged it. I know to carry it pretty much every ride I go now. You just never know when you're going to run out of battery on your phone. I mean, that battery's your lifeblood, really. Anymore it is. Yeah, about 23 miles an hour here in pedal assist 4. Once we get by the next intersection, I'll go and bump it up to pedal assist 5. We'll probably get 24 miles an hour around there, 25 maybe, the last mile. We'll be shutting the camera off again prior to me getting into my neighborhood due to safety and security reasons. Even my Strava app that I use on my phone, it blocks out about 3/10 of a mile to and from on the app itself. It does not show the location that you leave from. And that's really nice to have that. Yeah, been about an hour 43. Come about 28.79 miles. Now we're going to bump it up pedal assist 5. That's the highest setting it'll go. And I'm picking up speed, so plenty of battery still left. Still got about 48% of the battery from what it shows. That's pretty good, and a little more than I think I had on the first 15 miles. Yeah, we're doing 25 miles an hour right now, as you can see. about 26 miles an hour. And boy, I tell you, this thing runs so smooth even at that speed. Still maintaining 26 miles an hour. Alrighty, I'm going to shut the camera off for now, and then I'll turn it back on when we get to my house. So I will see you when we get back. Here we are back. Shows 29.98 miles, right at 30, so I'm happy with that. Still showing about 42% of the battery on this battery coming back, where the other one you only showed 34%. But I was riding in higher speeds on the first 15 miles, so that could be the 8% difference in the battery. And tell you, had a lot of fun. But again, this is the Cyrusher Komoda. It is a 20-inch by 4-inch fat tire bike. It's made by Cyrusher Komoda. Again, as I mentioned, it's got a 750 watt hub motor on the back, and it's got a as I mentioned, 20-inch fat tires on it. Get this cord out of the way. And it's also got Zoom hydraulic brakes front and back. And it's also got the Shimano 7-speed shifter on it. And it's got dual suspension front and back. And the bike rack actually came standard, as I mentioned, with the bike. The only thing I purchased was this Cyrusher bike bag, which I carry my extra battery and some other items in there if I need to go to the food pantry and drop some things off. Bag is very helpful with that. Now, a couple things I did purchase aftermarket. I did purchase this cup holder. I'm a huge coffee drinker, so I also purchased this alarm. I'll put all this down in the description box. If I have to make a short stop and leave my bike for a minute, you just even wiggle them handlebars, that's going to sound very loud, like a car alarm going off. And I also purchased this phone holder as well. It went on the handlebars really good, and of course the bar end mirrors, I purchased them separately as well. But I told you I kept the stock seat on it. It's very comfortable. So I just did a 30-mile ride, and I'll tell you, it was effortless. And really, really great bike to ride. I call it my fun bike. So it's also got a 48-volt, 14-amp-hour battery. It sits in this down tube. And it's got a key, then this battery comes out. And, of course, you got a charging port down here. But anyway, that's a little bit about the bike. And if you guys like the video, share. And like the video for me, please. Hit that bell notification if you want to see anything new coming up. And subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow on the next video.